Hi, I'm Joe Paiva. I'm a licensed land surveyor and professional engineer, and I work today as a geomatics consultant, mostly to manufacturers, but I also do a lot of seminars, and I'm a consulting editor and columnist for POB magazine. So I want to talk today about professionalism in land surveying and perhaps a little bit about what constitutes a land surveying professional. The first thing probably that I want to do is make sure that people understand that we often use the term profession and professional pretty loosely. And not all people that we know who are involved in the practice of surveying are necessarily professionals. There's also this matter of the land surveying industry. There really is a land surveying industry. When we talk about the domestic product contributed by land surveying, that's not just a profession. There are many people who do various kinds of surveying. And so a surveying professional may not always be a licensed land surveyor, and I would maintain that a licensed surveyor is not always a professional. So what constitutes a profession and a professional? There are many ways of looking at it, and one of the ways is to look at perhaps the medical industry. In the medical industry, we have the profession of doctors. We also have the profession of nursing or nurses. But we have many others. We have medical technicians, we have orderlies, and so forth. And we have to have that same stratification, if you will, and perhaps we can call them professionals and paraprofessionals as the medical industry has. So we have to be a little careful in not classifying everybody who's involved somehow in the industry of land surveying or even in the so-called profession of land surveying as necessarily professional. What are some of the things that might make one a professional? Well, one of the first things that comes to my mind is a broad world view. If someone is narrowly focused and does not think too much about what they do or even about what the products are that they provide, then they are not professional. It surprises me how many times that I ask surveyors, licensed surveyors, what it is that they provide in terms of when they deliver a plat of survey, having done a property boundary survey, to their client, what it is that they're providing that's of value. And other than talking about the paper, the map, they're very unconfident about stating what it is that the client now has that is of some worth. And I think that's a big part of being a professional. You have to know what it is that you are providing, and you have to be able to clearly state it. Something else that I think about when it comes to being professional is understanding the role of surveying, not just land surveying as in property boundary surveys, but any type of surveying, including land surveying, as it contributes to society. What is the value of land surveying and other types of surveying to society? If surveyors truly understand that and understand their role, they are being professionals. If they don't, then I would maintain that they're not behaving professionally. Another part of being professional is what you do for the profession. Do you encourage people to become professionals? Do you encourage the formation of educational opportunities to become professional? Those could be a couple of ways that people could be professional. Another part about being professional is this whole business of continuing education. In this country, we now have many states that require mandatory continuing education for the land surveyor. There are many states that don't. And there seems to be a big difference as to how many people attend opportunities for professional development. If one does not voluntarily take advantage of opportunities for professional development, they're probably not being professional. And just because a law has been passed making sure that people take these courses in professional development doesn't necessarily make them professional either. What you get out of those courses, how you use it, are all part of being professional if you truly use them to improve yourself and your business environment and the colleagues you work with, including the non-professionals. Something else that I see in the profession is how many people are not supporters of the educational process to become surveyors. By that I mean that in many states there are alternate paths. One is a totally experiential path, and then there's a path that involves a lot of education, perhaps a 4-year college degree, and then some experience. It amazes me how many so-called professionals block all attempts to make the path using a 4-year degree and the experience method from becoming the only method for licensing land surveyors. To me, this is short-sighted and ties back to what I talked about earlier, which is the broad worldview. Ethics also plays a very strong part in being a professional land surveyor. If surveyors don't think about ethics, their role, not only in being socially responsible in many different ways, about how their data is shared, how they communicate with other people, how they relate to their client, how they relate to the neighbors of their clients, how they relate to public officials, how they relate to governments, how they relate to other professionals who are surveyors, how they relate to other professionals who are not surveyors, and how they treat them, that is, whether they treat them ethically or not, makes a big difference, I believe, in determining whether one is a professional. Finally, I find that many surveyors are very, very poor at communicating their thoughts about these issues. Now, I'm not saying that that makes one a professional, but I really think that surveyors need to be thinking more about the philosophy of their practice, and that, I think, also helps to make them professional. And so those are a few thoughts. They're not my complete thoughts. This is a little bit of ad-libbing using a few notes that I have here in front of me, and I want to thank you for listening to me, and I would sure like to hear what you think about these ideas I have expressed about being a professional in the general field of surveying. Thank you.